Good Thursday afternoon. It is 3 o'clock Central Time. We have had a rough morning of very impactful storms as a result of Tropical Storm Arthur. Arthur dissipated a long time ago, but we had torrential rain, extreme flooding, and extensive damage across the area from the storms that we saw overnight and early this morning, even into the late morning hours. Here's a current look at what's happening across the area. We still have ongoing flash flood emergencies for Pearl River County because of all the rain that fell there today. Right now, it is not raining for the most part in Pearl River County. There's one little shower. We're getting a huge break in the rain. We're going to trend mostly dry the rest of today, but because the bodies of water are going to be on the rise, plus we've got some road closures still ongoing in Picayune. Earlier, Interstate 59 was closed. We've got road closures, impassable roadways, and so much rain that already fell today that we still have an ongoing flash flood emergency for Pearl River County because it's still going to take some time for the water to recede and things to get back to normal. So even though it is pretty dry across Pearl River County, there is still an ongoing flash flood emergency right now. So you just have to be super careful. Do not drive through flooded roadways, especially as we enter into the nighttime hours, and our bodies of water, our creeks are going to continue to rise. We're going to show you those levels in just a few moments, but that is a big thing that we're going to be monitoring for the next several days. The river levels in Pearl River County, and of course the standing water and the flash flooding that's still ongoing. So there's going to be some flooded roadways across Picayune especially, but even other parts of Pearl River County we've had ongoing flooding. In Hancock County, again, most of the rain has wrapped up. There are a few showers in Bay St. Louis, spotty showers towards Slidell, but we are trending mostly dry at this point. And that's how it's going to be the rest of today. We could see a couple passing showers and storms, but the bad weather is over for today. But now it's time to clean up and get through what we went through already today. There are a few showers in our river parishes. Des Allemands seeing a little bit of rain right now at the 3 o'clock hour. Some spotty showers in Belle Chase, a little bit of spotty rain on the North Shore, but nothing substantial. We don't need any more rain because we got so much rain today. When we were all forecasting this over the last few days, we knew there was going to be a bullseye of really torrential rain, and we just couldn't pinpoint exactly where. And unfortunately, it's set up really almost directly over our immediate area, right in this corridor. Also off to the northwest of Baton Rouge, they saw upwards of 20 inches up there. But where we got the most rain in our immediate area is South Mississippi, coastal Mississippi, 10 to 15 plus inches of rain across coastal Mississippi today. 10 to 15 inches of rain fell across Pearl River and Hancock counties in just the last 24 hours. This is radar estimated rainfall total, so it's not exactly perfect, but it's a good idea to see how much rain has fallen over the last 24 hours alone. Even parts of St. Tammany Parish in Slidell, anywhere from 7 to 10 inches of rain. On the South Shore, 4 to 8 inches of rain for the river parishes and down the bayou. Parts of Jefferson and Orleans Parish, the city of New Orleans, the metro area had some substantial flooding today too. But the worst of the flooding has been in St. Tammany and in Pearl River and Hancock counties, off to the east towards Harrison and Jackson counties too. They're dealing with extreme rainfall off to the east across the rest of coastal Mississippi. So we've had some incredible rainfall. Also, we've had extensive storm damage. We had several tornado warnings earlier today, several confirmed tornado warnings. They were, when we have those tornado warnings that are red, those are radar indicated. Then when they flash purple, those are radar confirmed tornadoes. And then we had a couple that had reports of damage along them when we were showing you them earlier this afternoon. Now, we saw, of course, wind damage, either straight line wind damage. We saw maybe some tornadic wind damage. Again, at the end of the day, like we always say, damage is damage. It doesn't matter, you know, if it was a rotating storm or if it was just straight line winds, you're going to be impacted no matter what. And many of us saw huge damage today, down trees, down power lines, trees on homes, businesses got some pretty bad damage. Homes got severely damaged in a few areas too. So we're going to be cleaning up from that over the next several days and weeks, unfortunately. So far, the National Weather Service, they're going to be out surveying the damage that we received today, there were so many, instances of, a possible tornado or maybe straight line winds that they're going to be working very hard to get all of that information out. So they did a few surveys today, but they're going to do more as the weather clears up the rest of today into tomorrow and in the coming days. But so far from the National Weather Service, they go out and they survey the damage and they determine if a tornado happened, was it straight line winds based on how the trees are snapped, how things look on the ground. And of course, they correlate that to what happened with radar at the time as well. So, they're just getting the preliminary information to us out now, just so we have a few things to look at and to work with. They're going to go out and survey the rest of the storms. This is only a few of the storms that they've looked at so far. So at this point, the National Weather Service and Slidell preliminary data, they have reported 3 EF1 tornadoes happened today. 3 so far. And this is, me reporting this at 3 p.m. on Thursday. We're going to get more of these reports coming throughout the rest of today, into tomorrow as well, and in the coming days. The 3 EF1 tornadoes, here's where they happened. We have one in Houma, and we had lots of damage reported in Houma, one in Avondale on the West Bank, and also we had one in Bridge City, but also it moved into the East Bank towards LSUNO. And these storms had 90+ mile-per-hour winds. Again, this is preliminary data, but just to get the information out to you, they're going to survey the rest of the storm damage. Again, in the coming days, there's going to be updates to this information I just gave you. There's going to be more updates to come in the following days. So make sure you do stay tuned for that. We'll show you what to expect, though, with your forecast, because we generally get into a quieter pattern. There is a chance for a few storms tomorrow, but it's going to be nothing like what we saw. But there's still going to be a flooding risk tomorrow because the grounds are so saturated. It's not going to take much to get flooding going on. So, of course, we had Tropical Storm Arthur make landfall way to our west towards Houston, but all the impacts got shifted to the east, and we had to deal with the brunt of the storm. Here's what's left of Arthur. It's just the remnants of Arthur moving through the southeast, flooding rains for the southeastern part of the U.S. It's actually going to keep on pushing to the east out into the open Atlantic, away from the United States, but it might, try to redevelop out in the Atlantic Ocean, moving away from the United States. So that's where it is right now, the remnants of what Arthur is left as, which is just a remnant system. But today, yeah, we really did get some pretty big impacts as Arthur was sheared up, I should say, and all the big impacts, all the heavy storms and the heavy rain and the strong storms got pushed to the east. And we had all of that spin in the atmosphere. I mean, we had several tornado warnings today, to say the least. I mean, I'm sure everyone's kind of head is spinning after what happened this morning. So it's still windy outside as the remnants of Arthur pull away. We've got wind gusts up to 30+ miles per hour, 35 mile per hour winds in Belle Chase, over 30 mile per hour winds along the lakefront and in Kenner. Some gusty winds down the bayou, 22 mile per hour winds in Houma. Mostly cloudy skies right now over the metro area, seeing a little bit of sun trying to break through. 90 degrees, it's heating up, feels like 104. And that's the other thing. It's going to be hot as we head into the weekend. And hopefully we get all of our power back, but it might take a little while. It's going to be a little uncomfortable, unfortunately, if you've lost power, and it's going to be hot and muggy going into the next couple of days. Southwest winds on the West Bank here with our live tower cam. Southwest winds around 15 miles per hour in the metro area. Dew points are in the 70s. It's incredibly humid outside. So getting into the rest of tonight, we're going to see showers winding down. Could have a few passing showers throughout the early part of the evening. Nothing big to worry about. But then overnight also we're going to be mostly dry. So we're going to be pretty quiet going into the next several hours. Even overnight we're going to be quiet too. So thankfully getting a break. The only thing is tomorrow we're going to have a few leftover showers and storms, or a few showers and storms redeveloping because we'll have some leftover moisture. It's not going to be as much rain tomorrow, but we could get some soaking showers and a few thunderstorms tomorrow throughout the afternoon into the early evening. And the thing is because the grounds are so saturated, if we see a few storms go over those problem areas that we saw today, you can get flooding going very easily. So we're going to keep a flood risk for tomorrow because we're going to have storms in the mix. Not a problem for everyone, but just want to keep that, keep that in mind for tomorrow, that it's not going to be completely dry. We're going to have scattered storms firing up, maybe a couple heavier showers, and there is that risk of some flooding at least tomorrow for some areas, especially the areas that got extremely heavy rain today. Saturday, also, there is a chance for a few scattered storms in the afternoon and early evening. Even less rain expected going into the weekend, but still some heavier soaking showers may try to develop in a few spots on Saturday. Storms are going to be hit or miss on Friday and Saturday. We're getting more into a typical summertime pattern going into the weekend, but there is some remnant tropical moisture still hanging on the next 2 days. This is the other huge thing we're going to be watching is the river levels. Our river levels are going to be continuing to rise across South Mississippi and on the North Shore. So the West and East Hoblachita Creeks are going to crest at a major flood stage. It could actually be at a record stage, which we'll show you in just a second, the numbers and the levels. But yeah, major flood stage expected for the West and East Hoblachita Creek. Also a major flood stage expected for the Tchefuncte River and the Tangipahoa River. Moderate flood stage expected for the Bogafilaya, and also a moderate flood stage expected for the Pearl River east of Slidell. Minor flood stage for the Bogachita, a little bit lower there. And we're going to show you those numbers now because this is what I was saying. The graphic got kind of messed up here, but I did want to fix this while we're live on air so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This is my fault because I was trying to add more detail to this graphic and it got a little messed up here. Let me just fix this really quick so you can see, because I want to give you these totals here because they are important, especially if you live along those areas and you have family that lives in those spots, and they need to know about this because earlier Meg Ferris was talking to the St. Tammany Fire Department, and they're going to be doing potentially some evacuation. I think they're going to be definitely doing some evacuations in the Tchefuncte River area towards Folsom. And, if you live along those spots, they want you to evacuate safely. You want to bring stuff with you like medication. You can bring your pets if you have to evacuate in the Tchefuncte River area towards Folsom. I feel like if you know, like if you live along this spot, if you're prone to flooding. I mean, I know we haven't seen river levels this high in a while, but it's certainly something to be mindful of. Again, let me just fix one more thing so you can see exactly what I'm trying to show you here. This is my fault here. Just wanted to make sure that this is looking a little bit more able to be read properly. Okay, so the East Hoblachita Creek is currently at a moderate flood stage and expected to get to a major flood stage of 22.5 feet late tonight through tomorrow. So it's going to be the East Hoblachita Creek is going to be cresting late tonight through Friday. And the record crest is 21 feet, but it's expected to get to 22.5 feet late tonight into tomorrow. So that could be record levels for the East Hoblachita Creek. The West Hoblachita Creek is already in a major flood stage, and it will continue to stay in a major flood stage, reaching 24 feet late tonight into tomorrow. The Tchefuncte River in Folsom, moderate flood stage now, expected to get to major late tonight into tomorrow through the weekend, 21 feet there. Tangipahoa River in Robert, currently in a moderate flood stage, expected to get to major at 21 feet late tonight into tomorrow and this weekend. So these are the totals that we are expecting the river levels to get to, and later today into Friday, even going into the weekend. And even as they crest in the next 24 to 48 hours, they're going to be running high through the weekend, probably into next week too, because of just how much rain we've gotten and how much rain fell to the north of us that has to come downstream. So this is something really that's going to be impactful. So today, of course, we had extreme flooding. I think the flooding risk the rest of today is low from additional rain. There's going to be standing water across many portions of the area, especially in South Mississippi. So there's going to be leftover flooding from the rain we got earlier. But the flooding risk from additional rain today, I would say, is pretty much done. And then tomorrow and Saturday, like I mentioned, because the grounds are so saturated, there's still going to be a risk of some isolated flooding concerns, especially over areas that got so much rain today. So we're going to be watching that for tomorrow and going into Friday. Tomorrow is Friday into Saturday as well. Scattered storms Friday into Saturday, about a 40 to 60% chance. We'll give it a 50% chance of rain Friday and Saturday, so it's not going to be a problem for everyone. Thankfully, on Sunday for Father's Day and next week, we're finally going to be drying up. Much lower rain chances. Our upper pattern is going to be changing, so we'll show you what to expect. So here's the remnants of Arthur moving across the southeastern part of the country. We have that leftover moisture across the Gulf Coast Friday and Saturday. That's why we'll keep scattered storms around and the risk for a couple heavier showers Friday and Saturday. But Sunday into next week, we're going to have an area of high pressure building in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. We're going to have some drier air moving into the Gulf Coast. It's going to be much nicer next week. Very low chance for rain, but as we see that happen, we're going to see temperatures heat up. So we're going to be getting to the low 90s this weekend, Probably low to mid 90s going into next week. Of course, it's going to be humid and muggy, so it'll feel like 100 degrees, maybe even above that. Actually, Friday, there's the National Weather Service went ahead and issued a heat advisory already in effect for Friday. So this Friday, tomorrow, we're going to have feels like temperatures tomorrow, maybe up to 105 to possibly up to 110 degrees if you don't get rain. So if you get rain, it's obviously going to feel a little bit cooler outside. But since the rain's going to be hit or miss tomorrow, we get that potential tomorrow to really heat up into the low 90s. Then in factoring in the mugginess, it'll feel like 100 degrees, maybe up to 105 to 110 in a few areas. So we're going to be worrying about the heat, especially if you did lose power and it doesn't come back on in time tomorrow before it gets really hot. So this is another thing to be mindful of. Here's your 7-day forecast. A few more passing showers and storms are possible the rest of today, but most of it's winding down. We'll have some scattered storms tomorrow and Saturday. We're going to keep the weather impact alert going for Friday because there's still that risk of some flooding, but the ground's being saturated. This weekend, though, rain chances really go down, especially Sunday. Sunday's going to be pretty nice for Father's Day, just very hot and humid. Next week, same deal. Very hot, very humid. We'll have more sun, not much rain. We'll be in the 90s, but it will feel like 100+ degrees. So thanks so much for tuning in. Of course, we will be back for the WWL Louisiana News at 4. We'll bring you the latest on what happened today and what you can expect going forward as we clean up from today's storms.